Let's talk about the problem with the MCU and DCEU and what I think that they can do to change that. So, first off, I think that both the MCU and DCEU need to switch up their agendas. I think that DC has like a wide array of characters that they may use and many mediums to fulfill that and can expand while creating like a new connection between all universes. They kind of had that going with the DCU and CW, but it's going through like a rough patch since the CW Arrowverse is already done and James Gunn is rebooting DC as a whole. On the other hand, I think Marvel needs to cut back on their production to prioritize quality over quantity. How will this result in quality, you may ask? Well, I believe that if they cut down on just like how much they produce, it'll give them enough time to review and tweak certain things about what they are releasing. Time that I think they need to take to make it that much more enjoyable and well written. This should also allow for like emotionally grounded stories, as James Gunn said recently, to combat superhero fatigue, which I think with time can be well crafted, as opposed to just going on like a release spree and hoping it all lands well within your audience, because there will be like no creativity since good quality takes time, most likely, and if you're constantly shortening the amount of time it takes for you to put out new content, you're most likely creating the same kind of story over and over again, just in a different way. The next thing that I think DC should do is come out with like a slate, which they have already done, but just like a clear schedule and having a point that they want to reach in mind to further allow them to work towards that and minimize a lack of consistency and order. Now, the thing I think both universes should do is to cut down on the comedy, please. Because I could be wrong about this, but I feel like Marvel and DC's demographic is filled with a lot more older people from like 13 plus as opposed to like 12 and below. And because of that, I think that the older you are, the more critical you become of what it is that you watch. So, for example, again, I could be wrong, but supposing that Marvel's audience was once mainly children aged 7 to 12, I doubt that they'll feel the cringe of the amount of jokes that you'll find in Marvel content today, or how, for example, Wakanda Forever basically implied that there are no other plans for the vibranium detector, which is a plot hole. Whereas teens and above may cringe at the jokes made in Thor Love and Thunder, or how Spider Man beat Doctor Strange in a realm that he understands way more with geometry, with math. So, yeah, that's about it. All in all, to summarize, DC should expand and connect throughout their multiverse, and most importantly, have a strong plan of action and schedule to minimize lack of consistency. Marvel should prioritize their quality by slowing down how often they put out new content, and both should tone down on the comedy because it seems that their viewers are getting older and a lot more critical of what it is that they watch. So, random jokes that aren't funny or make sense aren't, and random plot lines that aren't well written are no longer going to fly by the radar, in my opinion. And finally, they should both listen to their fans, not so much because it can get to a point where a fan wants something that is more enjoyable, but at the cost of good writing. But when most of your audience can agree that you're heading in the wrong direction, then it's probably time to switch it up. So yeah, that's it. Peace.